This year marks the end of the renowned Netflix series Strange Things, but the end is just getting started. The first installment of the show premiering the day before Thanksgiving, followed by the second on Christmas and the series finale on New Year's Eve. Even though the plot was a significant improvement over Season 3, the fourth season's decision to cut the release dates in half didn't go over well. Nevertheless, the Duffer Brothers have at least discovered a covert cliffhanger to keep audiences anticipating the final episodes. Each season, Stranger Things continues to divide the characters into distinct groups, but this time, everyone is in agreement. 18 months after Hawkins was devastated by an earthquake in Upside Down, the fifth and final season premieres. In the fall of 1987, Hawkins has been placed under quarantine by the military, making it difficult for anyone to leave without being smuggled out. In order to locate Vecna, the group has been planning crawls in the Upside Down. However, he has been moving among them the entire time, posing as Holly Wheeler's invisible companion, Mr. Wetsit. In Sorcerer, the fourth episode of Season 5, the hunt for Holly continues while Vecna's other targets are rescued. Dr. K, portrayed by Linda Hamilton from The Terminator, is a new antagonist that is added to the mix in Season 5. Now that the military has taken over Hawkins to stop the Upside Down from spreading to other regions of the world, she is the severe, dictatorial leader of the town. Dr. K has captured a number of monsters as part of her investigation into the alternative dimension and its inhabitants, including one so strong that Eleven believes it must be Vecna. Dr. K has established a military facility in the Upside Down despite the hazardous surroundings, using the power of this enigmatic creature as Eleven's kryptonite. Dr. K is wrong to think that Eleven is responsible for all of the damage in Hawkins, including Holly's disappearance and the targeting of small children. Eleven may finally put her training to use when she and Hopper break into the base in Season 5, Episode 4, in order to stop and kill the unidentified creature. Who could have predicted that viewers would witness Eleven's ability to fly? When Dr. K prevents Eleven using the sirens that interfere with Eleven's talents, things go wrong. Now that Eleven is disabled, Hopper gives his life once more to eliminate what they both believe to be Vecna. They say goodbye in yet another heartfelt way, which is now a requirement for every Strange Things season. But the person Dr. K has been holding captive is not Vecna. Known by her other name, 8 Callie is the formidable individual. Eleven first encountered her sister figure in Season 2, Episode 7, The Lost Sister. After all this time, it appears that the mysteries surrounding Callie's destiny will be resolved. Steve and his team have been preparing for their typical dangerous tasks in the meanwhile. Before Hopper and Eleven broke into the military installation, Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, and Dustin were able to reach them after they crashed into the enormous wall in the Upside Down. The four appear to be safe for the time being, though Nancy is annoyed that they may have to wait a long time for backup. Vecna has been covertly carrying out his scheme to conquer the globe and wipe out humanity in Season 5. Children are crucial to this scheme because, in his opinion, they are weak and readily shaped to suit his wants. Even though he was the one who initially sent the monsters, he makes friends with Holly by warning her about them, making her his first victim in this stage of his scheme. The group's prevailing opinion is that Holly is behind Vecna's unbreakable wall, but the situation is far more nuanced than that. Vecna imprisons Holly in a prison of his memories at the Creel house, where he killed his family, after he kidnaps her and almost kills Ted and Karen Wheeler. It isn't until Holly encounters Max in the woods that she discovers Henry's true malicious goal. Vecna refuses to go into the cave that Max takes Holly back to, most likely due to a horrific recollection. There, Max tells Holly about the lengthy journey that brought her here. Ever since Vecna killed him and Eleven brought him back to life, Max has been circling Vecna's mind and reliving his memories. When she heard Lucas playing her favorite song, Running Up That Hill, by Kate Bush, she nearly ran away. The tape skipped, ruining her chance. She has since come to terms with her fate and settled into the cave. In Will's vision, Holly is shown on a wall wrapped in vines with a tentacle in her mouth, exactly as he was when Joyce and Hopper discovered him in Season 1. It's unclear, though, if Holly's actual body is somewhere else in the Upside Down and what's inside Vecna's memory is merely a projection of her, as Will also saw other kids in his vision. Why and how Will has these visions is the key question. Early in the season, Will begins to see things from the perspectives of the Demogorgons Holly and Derek, another teenage victim of Vecna's. Will is said to be a component of the hive mind that Vecna has constructed, which is partially accurate. Will is actually entering Vecna's mind, not the minds of Holly, Derek, or the other creatures. Vecna has the ability to snoop on people's thoughts, and Will is no exception. Will uses this new skill to identify Vecna's potential victims. Will almost stops Vecna from obtaining several kids in order to protect them from the atrocities he experienced as a child with the assistance of Joyce, Mike, Lucas, Robin, Erica, Murray, and Derek. However, he and the others fail due to a significant flaw in their strategy. A burst water pipe alarms the troops when they are using the tunnels to smuggle children out of Hawkins' military zone, leading to their arrest. Vecna discovers where all of the kids are hiding at the same moment and dispatches Demogorgons to take them to the Upside Down. Vecna welcomes Will, who is weaker because he senses the Demogorgon suffering as though he were an old friend. He explains to Will that he picked him as his first victim in order to help him change the world because Will was the one who broke the easiest. As though Vecna couldn't succeed without Will's life, she oddly leaves him alive and assures him that they will do great things together. He resurrects the dead Demogorgons and sends them after Mike, Robin, and Lucas because he doesn't need the others to survive. A portion of Will that had always been there but he didn't know how to access gets triggered when he sees his best friend in jeopardy. The show goes back to significant childhood events that Will remembers with nostalgia, such as making friends with Mike, constructing his fort, and creating artwork for his mother and brother. He thinks back to Robin's speech, which teases his inability to embrace his sexuality and his unrequited love for Mike. It encourages him to look within himself for love and strength. Before the Demogorgons attack his comrades, Will uses telepathy and telekinesis to slay them. A sight of Will wiping blood from his nose closes the first part of Stranger Things' last episodes. Despite losing this first combat, the team eventually obtained two strong allies. If Kali and Will can find Vecna in the first place, their combined abilities might be sufficient to defeat him. The fact that the squad is more powerful just makes Vecna feel that he must improve as well. Many images from the trailers have still to be seen, including Nancy and Jonathan sharing an intense embrace and Lucas carrying Max through the hospital while being pursued by Demogorgons. This can only indicate that Vecna is no longer holding back now that he is aware that there are other threats besides 11. Who is most likely to die, then, based on what transpires in these first 4 episodes? Steve and Hopper's deaths were the two major, expected ones leading up to the last season, which makes sense given how they evolved into protective caregivers. It could be a little frustrating to execute the real thing in the end, though, since Stranger Things managed to pull off another Hopper fake-out death. Although Steve's plot in Season 5, Part 1 doesn't yet raise any red lights regarding his destiny, he is still a strong contender. Nancy is currently the most obvious goner. This season she has assumed a significant position as a leader and achiever, driven by her parents' near-death experiences and the abduction of her younger sister. Killing Nancy would really go against expectations because she has been written to fit the final girl stereotype from Season 1. The most violent death in Season 5 may be saved for Nancy, the emotional center of several characters' plots, according to teases made by the Duffer Brothers.